Hi everyone, today we will be discussing another Leetcode problem which is for sum. So in this you are given a list of numbers such as 1, 0, minus 1, 0, minus 2 and 2, and you're also given a variable which is target, and you have to check if four unique elements of this list equal, the sum of them is equal to the target. So basically nums of a plus b plus c plus d is equal to target, like minus 2 plus minus 1 plus 1 plus 2 is equal to 0, which is equal to the target, and you have to make sure that the list is unique. It is not a duplicate that you are sending. Now we also did a very similar problem to this, which is 3 sum. So if you haven't watched that video, I would recommend you to watch that video first and then come back here for an upgraded solution. So before we actually get into writing the code, let's go and look how is the intuition for solving this problem. For just for saving time, I've already written the list on the top, which is 1, 0, minus 1, 0, minus 2 and 2, and the target variable that we are looking for is 0. So first step that we do is basically we sort the list. And the reason why we sort the list, I've already explained it in 3 sum. So if you haven't watched that, I would highly recommend you to go and look at that. Now in 3 sum, we were looking at 3 pointers because we were adding 3 variables to check whether the sum is equal to target. Here we have 4 variables, so we will have to look at 4 pointers. So very similar, we are going to first have one loop, which is going to be the variable I, which is going to loop from left to right. We are going to have an inner loop to that, and j will always become from I plus 1. This will be a second pointer, basically the second loop, and we will have now 2 pointers, which is the left, and left will always be again j plus 1, and the right pointer will always be the last element of the list. Now what do we have to do is basically we have to check the sum for all these 4 elements. So here it is minus 2, minus 1, plus 0, plus 2, and the sum for this is minus 1, which is not equal to our target variable, which is 0. Now since this is greater than the target variable, we will cross out L left, and we will basically move the left pointer to the next element. Now again we are going to do the same thing, but since it's the value for else remains the same, we'll get the same result, and we will move left to the next position. Now let's see what is the new sum, which is minus 2, minus 1, plus 1, plus 2. Now this is equal to 0. So we have to check in our output list whether this is there or not. Since right now our output list is empty, we can go ahead and add this to our output list. And 2. Now since left cannot go any further or right cannot go backwards, basically we will move j to the next position. So now j is going to move here. So my j's pointer is here. Now as mentioned, left is always going to be one position plus j, and right is always going to be the last element to start with. Now let's look at what is the new sum. We have I still pointing to minus 2. Now j points to 0, L points to 0, and right points to 2. Now this sum is also equals to 0. Now are these elements unique? Are not same in the output? Yes. So I'm going to add this to the output string. So it's minus 2, 0, 0, and 2. Now since this is equal to 0, I'm going to cross my left element and I'm going to move that to the next element. Now let's again check the sum. It is minus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 2. So this is equal to 1, which is not equal to 0. But since there are no more places for us to go forward, we will basically now move the j element to next element. So j comes here. Left is always j plus 1 and right is always the last element. Now let's look at the sum for this. It is minus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 2. Now the sum of this is also equal to 1. So which is again not equal to 0. Now j cannot go any further because then there will be no space for left and right. So basically this entire loop now cancels out and now we move I to the next level over here. So our I comes here. Now j again goes to the inner loop and j will always be the next element to I, and L will always be the next element to j, and R will always be the right element. Now let's look at the sum for this. It will be minus 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2. So now the sum is equal to 1, which is not equal to 0. Now if you see, it's greater than target. So instead of moving the left element, we will move the right element to the next place. And let's check the sum again. So it is minus 1 plus 0 plus 0 and plus 1. Now this is equal to 0. So we are again going to check if this elements list of elements is unique. That is unique. So we are going to add it in our output variable. So it is minus 1, 0, 0 and 1. So now there is no more further space for E and R. So we will basically cancel this out and J is going to move to the next location and L will come here and R will come here. And this is how we are going to continue to loop it forward to build our output variable, and in the end we are going to return the output variable. Hope this solution is clear. Now let's see how the coding works. Now since the code for this is very similar to 3 sum and we are only adding one inner loop for j, so I'm going to quickly just type the code over here, and if you want to look at step by step, please refer to 3 sum. So we did a very similar thing. We just added an inner loop for j over here, which loops from I plus 1 to the last element minus 2, because we need to leave space for nn, the left element and the right element. So it's the very same thing. We basically check if it's equal to target and not in output. We basically append it to output. Otherwise, we just check the condition. If it is the total sum of 4 elements is less than target, we move the left to next position. Otherwise, we move right to next, the one element before it. And in the end, we return the output. Let's just run this code. And now let's just submit it to see the results. If you see, this is a pretty decent solution. Thanks for watching.